expo. We are now processing our memorandum of understanding. So before we were able to have students this from France, and we hosted him for Catholic School of Civil and Environmental. Hosted the student who did his sandwich program in Papua, having something like we wanted more activities, more cooperation with Friends University. So we are really so glad to have you share with us what potential cooperation, what potential opportunities for our faculty members could be non-teaching personnel and students as well. So we welcome Selva and Adam to deliver the opportunities and discuss with us today. So welcome to the event. Okay?
Thank you very much. So as Lydia said, I'm coming from the French Institute together with my colleague Adam. I'll talk a bit later about more student opportunities and direct student opportunities, because I will talk about potential collaborations between universities and also student exchange possibilities. So just to draft where I'm coming from. So the embassy has different offices. Any of embassy has different offices, and one of the office of the embassy's cooperation office. Among the tasks of our cooperation office, there are thematics that we have to develop, and one of them is cooperation within higher education and research. And the France government has decided this year to create a new position at this office in Manila, and I got this position in September, so to increase the number of cooperations between France and the Philippines in the sector of higher education. And not myself, a civil servant from foreign affairs, I'm not in France, a civil servant from education. And I was formerly the head of the international office, some kind of misdemeanor in France. To picture. So I was previously posted in Chad in Africa, where I had this task of developing cooperation between France and Chad universities, and developed Chadian mobility, student mobility in France. And that exactly what my tasks are here, but I'm not alone to do that. For example, is one person in charge of most of university cooperation, education linguistic cooperation. So when we come in a university, we tend to talk a little bit also of French language. At least ask you if French language skills in university. And so my main task being increasing argument for exchange students, one famous private university of the country, has 70 students going to France every year, making France the first destination for exchange students for academia, which was very surprising to me, but also a very good indication that France was attractive for people. So these are the two directions where we are working at the moment, promoting education at large, but also stimulating and helping institutions to find relevant partners in the field. So I will talk a little bit of one program we're developing at the moment to increase this. Maybe you are familiar with one association which is called the EA. None of the E stands for engineering. It's European Association of International Education. And maybe you know other similar associations just NASA in the United States or API in Asia. And it's an association that has a really big conference on international education in Europe. And the next one is in Toulouse in France in September. And it's a very good marketplace to find an institution to collaborate with. So this year, this conference takes place in France. It's been more than 15 years since the last conference was held in France. So we know that there will be many French universities going there. So we are promoting the conference and push institutions who would like to increase the number of collaborations with France to attend this conference. Prior to this conference, we're organizing in May 3 days, kind of a seminar on exchanging students to France, and two directors of the international offices, French universities, come to Manila we will select about 12 universities in the Philippines to have a small seminar to review what is an agreement, what is the content of an MOU for exchanging students. What does it mean to welcome a student? What does it mean to send a student in pedagogical but also administrative and logistical issues? And we will prepare also the coming of these universities in September to Toulouse and the coming to my ministry of interest. And if it's successful, then I can go with 10 and 20 to 12 universities to the idea to do the markets. So this is one example, but more simply, we, especially for university and schools, identifying good partner in France is very tricky because the organization is not the same. For example, architecture is not a university. So architecture, a school of architecture, are not even under higher education. But they are mostly under environment ministry, and they are independent. It tends to be a more and more different a tendency to merging institutions at the moment and higher education institutions at the moment. But for the moment, the School of Architecture are independent and answer to different forms sometimes of administrative procedures and the degrees of the same. It's bachelor, master, but it's different. So if you would like to develop agreements, exchange programs with School of Architecture, then you would have then it's so easy to do, but you have to know this. It's useless to contact universities programs unless you put civil engineering in architecture, then that would be in engineering schools, which aren't within universities. Because most of the engineering schools are also independent. We have usually working in networks and private ones, access to these schools are very specific. It's engineering and architecture are the disciplines where you have to pay attention on how it is organized once before rushing to identify partners. But a lot of them are providing programs in English, because course, sending students in France, you have to institutions that are providing programs in English, even though most of the education is still in French. France, especially in higher education, especially in science, you find programs fully in English, or when the program is not fully in English, you would have enough minutes so to accommodate international student programs for exchange. Yes. So we can work on this if you already know that you want to send engineering students in civil engineering. We can try to find different partners to you. Student exchanges. We also have a small program that's been launched yesterday. And we are proposing scholarships to academics or researchers holding a PhD. We have open 2 positions of 1 month this year, so it's open to any Filipino academics and researchers. Willing to spend for research mobility for 1 month in France. So, let's be honest, the researchers that will be awarded these scholarships will be researchers with a research project, but also with a cooperation. We're looking for someone who would, at the same time, maybe a research project, publication projects, some things that French university overlap, but who would be legitimate for his her university, so to try to be on the ability to come back with a student exchange agreement. It's not always easy to find this profile, but you could think of people that would be relevant to this this mission. It's only 3 rounds for the moment, but we may have, that's the name. We may have available budget the year that will be used for this. There will be a waiting list of people pre-selected and in the waiting period. Outside these grants, this is something you can have as well. If Macquarie University helps its staff, or if you get funds from SHAG or from UTSC for mobilities, but if you don't know where to go, we can also assist people, especially if they have a very specific request. Usually that's how to start or how can I assist. I will send more scholarship opportunities. There was one, Filipino has candidated. It's a bit sad because this was 40 grants for over the world. But I know that for the moment, the Philippines have a bit out of information, the information that France would have to offer. And I'm sure that in many selection committees that would like to have new nationalities. And so I'm sure that there will be in the near future more people academics to France. And we also have other committees that would be more specifically in disciplines in mathematics, but also in history and heritage culture. We also have ones as the Embassy of the Philippines, France, which is Islamic Science School, which is a very famous school for political sciences, and they have opened Filipino studies in France, and they're usually looking for academics that can do seminars on different topics. Literature, well, one other reason of my presence today is also that we sometimes feel like we lack information about existing collaboration between France and the Philippines. I heard Mr. say today that we were signing a new agreement that we received the French student. We would be very happy to have even an informal way this information. So to know better what is working and how to promote good practices among other universities. So feel free, this is a list of what we propose, what we do, what we intend to do. But of course, it doesn't have to be on this. And I hope some of you will come up with these ideas that be interesting for all parties to develop. So don't hesitate to contact me. My name is Sylvain Lambeck. See my name somewhere. It will be easy to find me on LinkedIn and Facebook, where I have accounts and where I share any grant opportunity that I'm aware of, with the details and background, etc. And also have a mailing list. I usually contact the international offices so that they spread information, because they usually know where to disseminate this information. So usually speak only to institutional, but if you don't mind speaking information, really, you don't, I can interpret it in Thank you very much. I'm open to any questions, remarks you may.
Hello. Okay, thank you, sir, for that wonderful presentation about some opportunities that Filipinos could have in France. So maybe we could ask some questions from the audience if you have any. So yeah, which would be a very good opportunity, of course, for us to have some discussion, of course. Yes, person.
I am aware.
Usually in most institutions where exchange students come and have to study English, or can study English, choose to study English, they would be offered introductory French, so that easier maybe on a daily basis to go and buy your baguettes on your own. So yes, in most of the universities, that's really having process. But it's not controversial, because as students they spend a semester on a French campus, they will study in English, and the group of students, they will be among the are usually international students or French students also studying in English. So there's many students not speak French in English. We can even send 2 years as a PhD student in France and write your thesis in English and then you get defend in English and go back home without knowing practice. We don't like it. So the language shouldn't be an obstacle to teach.
Thank you for that response. Do we have any other questions for Cris?
What would be the criteria of those students? The criteria would be different.
To be admitted as an exchange. First, it's the responsibility of the not of the host, but you would be the one choosing who are the students selected from exchange. To be accepted in France as a degree student, then it would depend on the program, whether it's competitive or very competitive. Extremely. And some of them, even if you're studying only in English, might ask you proof of level in English, whatever discipline is, maybe mathematics. But most of them they would, and it should be mostly purely so the transcript of records, but also what do they mean? This evaluation in a country is very different from the country. However, in France, the system is 20 points, and the average mark is 10. In engineering school, maybe 12 out of 20 is extremely good. Maybe here, no, are you in percentage here for evaluation? The grades here, is it percentage? Is it 1 to 5? Okay. So yeah. So when you receive a transcript of a student coming from abroad, if you don't know the evaluation system, you cannot evaluate the file. So it's good to have a letter saying that this student is the best student this year. Or is it outstanding results? Is it average results? Does everybody has 2 the grades must be explained. Without any explanation of raw grades, that means nothing to me. So that is very important to explain what the grades mean. And apart from that, motivation. So the letter of motivation. So why is the student applying for this program and why this program in particular? Usually, teachers and researchers like, because in France, it's not yes, in France, admission is not an administrative process. It's purely academic. No administrative staff select students for a program. It's only academics and researchers that study files the application and meet students in a program. Even first year university, it's only researchers and academics. Yes, this usually quite a surprise for many universities. I don't know how in the Philippines is dealing with the application of students is different for bachelor's, is different for master's. In country, they always. And about the visa, We have already, I think, on the sponsor website, guidelines. So to help students precisely on the fees, student fees. Usually, I think if you follow strictly what is requested, it's maybe 100% clean.
Okay, thank you for that. So definitely we still have enough time. So maybe for yeah, so maybe from others, could we have some questions or do you have any questions? Okay, so we have here Engineer Fiber from the School of Civil Environment and Geological Engineering.
I would like to ask from the School of Civil, Sir mentioned civil, environmental, geological. The civil, the French is very famous. We have Darcy and the Darcy Croatian was French and Darcy also Martinez, just a little Martinez, they're French. So we're using that. So we're working in university like this. So we have students here, civil engineering students who would like to join the universities in France. So I would like to ask if there's already an available opportunity for us.
Immediately, I don't have an addition to a master program. But let's see, it's really something we can talk about and find new relevant partners in France that would match your requirements. Also, something that I didn't say about being a meeting in France is that you have a 4 years bachelor program. Yeah, it's 3 years. So it makes it very easy. So your bachelor is really recognized in France, even academics that would like 4 years programs. I think students they know more when they enter the master program and French students who are spending 3 years. So that's also something. But we can maybe draft something. What would be exactly comments? Is it for exchange students? Is it how to recommend the student to go to this program as a Cris program? You have to precise your request, and we really would be very happy to help you finding the right
Definitely, we and our students would like to go to where the source of the situations came from. And then I will not get angry because there's spicy.
so that maybe you have the intensity but there's much also have yeah in the Philippines might be of interest to students for employability of maybe only for internship reasons that might be interesting for folks to try to promote and your collaborate in the extension to one. I'm sure they have civil engineering.
That's great. Before that.
Technically, it's ready. There is they
to be a university teaching. You know, hey, it's like it's related, but now we're not the MSc. Yeah, the France.
So maybe we could continue the question of Sir Silvan. To give, of course, for our next presenter. So our next presenter is Sir Adam Folias. So the Officer for Higher Education and Linguistics, Head of Campus France Philippines, SCAC.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So thank you, Siva, and thank you for your questions. So very quickly, I am Adam Forias, an officer for higher education and French language at the Ambassador of France to the Philippines Asia. But I am also the head of Campus France, Philippines, and I'm going to explain what is Campus France, what kind of study opportunities you can have in France, and I'm here to answer all of your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them, of course. So, first of all, who is Campus France? Campus France is the agency, a French agency in charge of promoting higher education abroad and for me in the Philippines. So basically, we give you tailored assistance to help you prepare, to help you build your study projects, to move and study in France, whatever the length of your mobility. And we can also give you detailed advice to look for example, scholarship opportunities. I'll give you some tools to help you find the opportunity that may change your future, academic future. So, first of all, let me introduce you 3 reasons why you should choose France as a study destination for a master's after you study here, for example, or for PhD, or just to introduce you why France is a good destination for studies. First of all, of course, there is the excellence of our higher education. So a few points to try to convince you. France is a world-class higher education system. We are very well represented in national rankings. We have more than 3,500 public or private higher education institutions. And very important information, know that it is not mandatory to know French to study French. There are more than over 1,700 programs in taught in English, whether they are partially taught or entirely taught in English, but most of the time it's entirely taught in English. It's the 6th most country for international students abroad, so we have a tradition in welcoming foreign students, also a lot of Filipinos, because there are over 500 students from the Philippines studying in France, whether it is in Paris right here or in other cities of France. And myself, I would recommend you try to look for good universities which exist in other universities other than France, other than Paris, of course. So maybe just a quick question for my own personal culture. What's because I know not all of you speak French, of course, maybe none of you speak French here today, but I'm just curious, what would be the first word that comes to mind, the first French word that comes to mind when I say French? Sorry? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, very good. Are there other words that come to mind? Anything? Probably. Oui. Okay. Oui. Very good. Yes. Réservoir. Oh, that's here. So, croissant, or lister, or berries to the back, but it's good to know. Okay. Okay, okay. So my personal scripture. Thank you. Réservoir. Very quick, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but we have a lot of very well-ranked navigating institutions in France. Whatever the field you're choosing to study in, whether this is engineering or social sciences or hardcore sciences, mathematics, physics, there are a lot of good institutions and very important, a lot of good public higher education institutions. If it's public, most of the time is that it will cost less than the private education institution. I will talk about the price of education in France a little later. It's important to know that you do not have to go in private to be in a good higher education institution. Talking of public and private institutions, just a quick review on type of institutions. You have the public universities, which welcome the majority of international students in France and have the advantage of the benefit of giving you low tuition and fees. You have the grandes écoles, which is region or schools or business schools or schools of engineering, which are either public or private institutions of excellence. And the tuition fees can be a little higher. Most of the time, actually, they will be higher. But it's important to know that they exist. And it's around up to 5 years of studies. And finally, you have specialized schools. For example, I heard there were people from architecture departments. The architecture schools, very difficult word, are part of these institutions and can go from 2 to 5 years, and the fees are a bit higher to go in the universities of the system. So, one last point on the French education system is very important. For example, means what would be the equivalent of the undergrad or bachelor, the licence, and which is done whatever the type of diploma you're choosing universities, 3 years. But I think the PhD is 4 years, I believe. So then you have the masters, like here it's 3 years, and then you have the PhD equivalent, which is the doctorate. It's 6 semesters or 3 years. You can extend, but more recommended to do. So, and finally, each of these diplomas give you access to OCPS, which are European credits, which mean that they are transferable with other institutions within the European education area. Then, regarding the French language, so as I said, I'm going to repeat myself, it's not mandatory to speak French to study in France. So there is this. I recommend that you take a photo of this search engine. It's called Stop English search engine. Basically, what you can find on this engine search engine is that, okay, I want to study engineering, being on the search engine, and you all the programs taught in English through this different menu. So it depends whether you're looking for a bachelor or master's program. To give you all the information you need. It stands from like for example, what you will find in the study program, the legal requirements, and stuff like this. And also, it is still important to learn French language if you have the time for it. Of course, as Sylvain said, to communicate with our students on campus, and also other people to make friends, but also it gives you access to a wider selection of study programs. So for these that are taught in English, there are French, of course, and for this, I would recommend checking the website of the Alliance Française. What is the Alliance Française very quickly? It's the Cultural Institute, the French Cultural Institute, which is in charge of giving French classes in the Philippines. So there is one in Makati and there is one in Cebu, but they have a wide selection, they have a wide offer of online courses that I recommend you to check. So Alliance Française, if you want to learn French, it's quite a good first step. I don't know if you have French classes offered here in Papua, maybe. Alliance Française, you used to have before, but not anymore. Okay, maybe we can have a chat about this after the session. It's very important to us. Great pleasure. We got on this person, of course. And you can scan if you want to have access to the website of interest to you. There are a lot of students, a lot of young people, and very often they hold cultural events related to French culture. It's a nice other people or French and drink some wine, so it's a nice place. Regarding cultural events, France is also a host country for a lot of like a very rich and diverse cultural life. First of all, for example, as a student, you have access to culture at a reduced cost, for example, museums or cinemas. It's also a country with a lot of very well-ranked student cities. There is Paris, of course, but Paris can be a bit expensive. There are other cities, for example, Lyon, in which I have studied. It's great. It's a small city, but you have a lot of very good restaurants, very good food. And for me, after Paris, it's the most beautiful city in France. And you have other cities like Toulouse. France is also the first country with the most UNESCO World Heritage sites. So if you like tourism, if you like to cultural heritage, you can visit a lot of different venues for this, and you will make friends for life. I believe that whether it is student exchange program or mobility, like long-term mobility, you get to meet people that will stay your friend forever, which was my case actually, because I did not grow up in France. I grew up in Morocco and I went to France to study when I was 18. And today I'm working for France, of course, but today I'm working for French government. That's kind of convinced me to follow this class. So I really invite you to consider this opportunity. France is also at the crossroad of Europe. So if you study in France, you get access to a very good infrastructure work. So if you want to go to Amsterdam, Germany, or to Spain or to Italy, it's really easy to move around with your visa. And for example, if you want to go to Amsterdam, it's around 2,400 peso round trip. So I used to do this when I was a student, but you can go anywhere in Europe. It's kind of cheap, really. So while I'm discussing about the cost of student life, I take this opportunity to say that currently, as of this moment, we're holding survey addressed to all of Filipino students currently studying in the Philippines. That is very quick to fill, it's less than 5 minutes, and it's on our social media that I will. But if you fill this survey, there is a possibility that you get to win a trip to France this summer for 3 weeks to study French language. So we already have more than 6,000 respondents. It's quite popular. We're not expecting this many people participating, but it costs nothing to go on Google form and fill the information. So I'll give you the address of our social media so you can access to this form. And finally, as I said, it will help to connect conference and all over Europe. Moreover, it gives you after studies access to a big family of people from this one France, studying in France, and who have succeeded in a professional way, professionally, and so it gives you access to a network of people from all over the Philippines studying a lot of fields of studies and are working at the work. For example, last November, we had an award ceremony, and there was Steven Tan, he used to be a student in France in a business school. He's the president of SLMOS. We also have Rama Dute, which is the director of the Design Center of the Philippines, which they are part of the DTI. And we also have journalist, filmmaker, and actress Daniela Loro, for example, who was also studied in France. So you have access to the network of professionals who came back to the Philippines and can give you good opportunities. There are a lot of engineers or architects. Maybe you can get in touch with somebody who studied in France and can help you when you come back, if you want to come back. So when you come back to the Philippines, get a good job. So I think it's a good thing to keep in mind. So, as we say in French, money is, how we say, the nerve of the war, the nerf de la guerre. So it's all about the finances, the subsidy and scholarship opportunities. Basically, the tuition fees, so the hard part first, when it hurts, but you will see that it hurts less than if you were planning to go to study Australia or the UK or America. If France is actually one of the only countries in the world that subsidizes higher education for international students, so not only students. And for example, should you choose to study in a master's program, it will cost around 3,770 euros per year, so it's 229K basically. So this is for master's program which applies this kind of prices. Actually, a lot of higher education institutions in France, public education institutions, they still keep these prices which are a lot lower. For example, I told you about 229K for a master's degree in public institution. A lot of institutions actually keep the 40K cost per year. So it's interesting to keep this in mind. While in, for example, in Australia, it stands from 15K US dollars to 34. So it's clearly not the same price. So keep this in mind. And if you are planning to go to a private institution, for example, School of Business and Management, it spans from 1,500 euros up to the 5 digits. It's more likely to be in the 5 digits. So keep this in mind that it's still cheaper than a lot of other higher education systems. What can I add? I think this is it for tuition fees. Regarding the cost of life, so the survey I was talking about actually is to help us give you more information and prove you that it's possible to go study in France. It's not as does not cost as much as you think it costs. But basically, for example, in France, if you go to have a meal in the students' restaurants, it's around 200 pesos. So it's a lot cheaper than you would think. For example, if you want to rent monthly accommodation, it's important to know that, for example, there's a differentiation between Paris and other cities. In Paris, it spans from 24K to 60K, but to go to other cities, because it's very expensive. In Manila and other cities like Cebu, Manila, and Davao. But if you go to other big cities, was very nice higher education institution, it's from 12K to 40 approximately. These values are what we have, checked on different websites. We will update this value, and I'm sure that it will be even lower when the survey is completed. So we'll fill out this report. Regarding the transportation, it's the same. There is heavy subsidy for transportation under 7. So don't worry, I think it's possible to go study in France. I really invite you to consider this possibility. It's not does not cost as much as you would think it costs. Regarding the scholarship opportunity, it's also important because we will very soon open our campaign for scholarship, the Phil France scholarships. So there is 2 programs. There is a Phil France master. Basically, what happens is that you guys, if you're selected, it's very selective. We have a few scholarships. It's not a lot, and we take only the best. But it costs once again nothing to apply for the scholarship. In fact, maybe change the life in the way that you make study abroad. So you can apply for the scholarship if you access to 2K per month allocation. So it's conversion from euro. You get a full waiver of registration fees for public institutions under the supervision of French CHED, right? Commission on Higher Education. Well, our CHED, if your institution depends and it's related to this, you get a waiver, a tuition fee waiver. We pay for the round trip. You go to France. Like for example, next August, you go to France, we pay for the trip, we stay 2 years there, come back after 2 years, we bring the trip back. But in between, if you decide that you miss your family, which is normal, of course, and you want to come back, you don't pay for it. You get visa application fee exemption, and Campus France, remember, the agency in charge of French higher education abroad, will help you find housing within its network of student residences, where it's costs way less than if you were to go to the private markets. And you get affiliated also to social security for free, very important. If it's the DOFIT France University program below university, right? Department of Science and Technology in the Philippines. So we have a co-funded scholarship program with them. So basically, the courtesy of Campus France and the French University is that, like the other one, we waive the tuition fee registration for public institutions. You get assistance in finding student housing, the assistance network, and you get affiliated to social security. But the UST pays for the complete policy allocation every month, calculated on a case-to-case basis, so I don't have values right now. And they pay for the round-trip economic effort. So it's a bit less safety in a way that we have more scholarship opportunities. Like for example, this year we're planning on giving 9 of these. And it's masters and PhD, really important. Yeah, so it's masters and PhD. So we invite you to consider all opportunities. But yes, maybe it's important field, important information. There are priority fields. It's this list, but it's not for you studying in a field that's not on the list that you have applied, of course, like and your which will be considered as priority fields. And very important also. Phil France University there is a mandatory service in public this institution for the period equivalent twice the next French in the framework of the scholarship program. You go for a 3 years PhD in France, you have to come back and work for 6 years for the Philippine government. So these are the opportunities that I gave depend on our embassy and campus possibilities, but there are many other opportunities, many other scholarship opportunities, and you can browse through our campus grants and take a photo to look here on the website. You can also take it on the board. We can send you, that's no problem. Basically, you put different criteria. For example, I'm a student. I want to apply for a master's degree in a French higher education institution, and I want to apply for a degree in engineering. All this information, and they give you all the grants, all the scholarship opportunities you may apply for in the future. So quite a useful tool. So regarding the student services that you get access to if you go to study in France, you get access to health, social security, and insurance. So why? It helps you get reimbursed. For example, if you have to go to the doctor, you get partially or fully reimbursed for your expenses. So it's very nice to get a cash or something worse. It's effective as soon as you are registered at non-Monjardin educations in France. You have to log through this website to register, like check out information that are relevant, and it's completely free. So this is quite an interesting service. Also, you have many other services. So I really like to take a photo of this if you're interested in studies in France. First, you have the Bienvenue en France label. Basically, every university that are part of this label, they have this Bienvenue en France label, this logo, the blue one. It means that you can ask them, but they have a list of different services. For example, they can come and fetch you from the airport, or they can give you specific advice for housing. They give you a full. Let's say France is the 6th most country for international students. There is a tradition of welcoming students, and some universities, many universities, among whom have this level, will do a lot of services or advice about this level in France. There is also the Boots service. Boots, like this red logo, if you go to France, you will see why. First is for eating. You want to eat, I told you about the 200 peso meal. You go to Cris restaurants, it's the 200 peso meals. But it's also the residences. Basically, you find, if you want to have affordable housing, you find one in the Cris network, and you can have access to housing that is way cheaper than if you were to go to the private markets. Finally, you have the CAF. They give you, just have to remember one information, they give you assistance like financial aid on a case-to-case basis to help you pay for your housing. Okay, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but now if you're studying in France, you're considering like the financial possibilities, like aside from the scholarship, you can work in France. You can work as a student. So we can give you all this information and the PowerPoint. I can send it to my colleague from Campus France. How to apply? Okay, so it depends on the different level to which you apply. If you apply for the first year bachelor, you have to go through the preliminary request for admission for the first year. So the calendar is already due. So you can take a photo. Next year, I think it's maybe the same calendar. But if you apply for a master, for example, if you apply for the France scholarship, France master, you are already able to check the different information for masters that will interest you on the MoMaster website, my masters. Know that there is a very high probability we will announce on our social networks, but we will host a webinar very soon, next week, most likely on the 16th, regarding first the scholarship opportunities, because we will very soon open the campaigns, but also regarding the MoMaster website to help you go through the website, but you choose study program that might interest you, because starting February 26 up until March, you will be able to apply for a master's French. So you can take a photo of the calendar, and so that is it for the master's. Okay, so this is all I had to say. This is the contact of my colleague Paolo. Paolo is the face of my education in is because he's the person with whom you will speak if you're interested in building a study project in France. So you can take his email address here in photo, and if you want to stay updated regarding the scholarship opportunities, you can subscribe or check on a regular basis our different social networks. I advise you to register to the Facebook and Instagram maybe, so that you can get access to all of this information. That is all for me. Do you have any question regarding this very dense, very heavy presentation? I'm listening at all ears.
Yeah, thank you, Sir Adam, for that. So Yeah, do we have any questions from our audience? So regarding what Sir Adam discussed about the studying opportunities in France. So maybe they are thinking. So yeah, maybe I could have the first question here. So because actually last year I was in Canada and I also have some meetings and engagement with other international students also there. And they are also yeah, they told me that their tuition fees actually are like much higher compared to the local Canadian students in their country. So is that also the same with France or in French universities?
As I said, it depends. It depends. Like as I put, you have two different types of fees. Basically, what happened is a few years ago, before the students used to pay the same price as French nationals, there was a law that was passed, and now the fees are higher for people who are not from the EU, the European. But it's only relevant, only true for a few select higher education institutions that actually accept to practice this tuition fees. There are a lot of higher education institutions, public higher education institutions that are still with using these prices that are right here that are a lot cheaper. So I think it's important to note you can contact the higher education institution of your choice, of interest, and ask them if they still use this price or not. Yes. Or even if you want to make it easier, you can also contact us, and it's a pleasure for us to help you building your community project.
Okay, so do we have audience? Okay, let's have here Sir Patty.
Thank you. Hi, Adam. I'm Patty of the Office of International Career Exchange Programs. So apart from the tuition fee and other academic related costs, one of the things that our students would like to is the budget that they have to prepare for their personal expenses. And in terms of personal expenses, living in France, how much should a student prepare? Let's say for every month that they will stay in France.
This is exactly the heart of our surveys, to be able to arrange that exact range of amount that would be required to study, for example, in Paris or in other cities outside of Paris. But right now, as of now, the information that I can give you is basically this, because we focused on the most important expenses, I'd say, like housing, food, fees, transportation, but it's our goal to be able to give you even more precise information to help you build the budget for this. Is this clear for you?
Right.
Because, for example, if you're asking this question, what do you have a worry? What is pushing you to ask this question?
Well, most of our students would like to inquire about, for example, student exchange or any other studying overseas. They're not really looking. Well, most of them are really inquiring about scholarship opportunities, but not all of them are really expecting to get scholarships. So some students are actually ready to spend for all of the costs, and that's why I'm interested to know about this one, so we can have some information to share with them in case they would like.
As soon as our survey is over, as soon as we have treated this, lots big information that we're actually collecting, I believe that it's our goal to help you get some more attention on this.
I can make a different answer. It's that would be carefulness. Now is careful at the moment. Is what the consulate asks for visa. The consulate asks the student to prove that he or she will have 650 euros per month to live in France. So it's considered we can deduct that it is considered by France that the minimum amount a student should have to sustain himself or herself during a month's semester. I think it's very important question to when we were talking about thinking of sending more students in exchange programs that sustain themselves. Actually, for exchange students, there's only very few scholarships. Because the scholarships we are there, but it's not like it's true that it's sometimes some universities to sustain their students with all their own scholarship options. It's not easy. Coming back to the fees, also there you don't have to pay any fee. You don't have this. So it's true that it's very difficult because it's sitting here. How do you say to him how much she will spend in a month? In Rouen, if the student gets the university accommodation, or if it's not available, it's in a center of Paris, 50 kilometers from the center of different levels.
So you want an average of all temperatures from north to south? No. Okay, when as I said, when I grew up in the temperature is kind of like the Philippines. It's way colder region. But most of the time it's kind of this. When I came to France, to Paris, I was quite shocked with how cold the winters were. But it was in Paris. If you go to southern France, the the weather conditions are completely different. The weather forecast is different. It's way hotter. So it depends. France is at the crossroad of Europe, also at the crossroad of different weather conditions. In the north, like near to the Belgian frontier or German, it's way colder and wetter. But in the south, it's a lot drier and hotter than, for example. So it really depends where you go. But if you want to stick to hot weather, I really recommend to go study in southern France. For example, in cities like Marseille or Aix, which have actually a very good, very good public university. But there are other places like Nice, for example. So I think you consider south of France.
Okay, so do we have any other questions from the audience? So actually, yeah, one of our professors also are asking me, maybe there will be a possibility of research collaboration with French University. So like from we want to one and another. If that would be through you, or maybe we could just like pay on, or yeah, that would be the thing.
this is the field of my colleague Silva.
It depends. If you have identified a partner with someone, some institution, say, you contact them directly. If you need any help, you target to identify partner. You can go through us. You can also go through us if you have identified a partner that you would like some support, because maybe a lab we receive just a request where if it comes through the embassy, might that would be very bad to more consideration.
The process.
Well, I met colleagues from Forest in the university in October, and they told me that they were going to France. As they wanted to develop exchange programs, and I sent a couple of emails to different schools in France, and they've been hosted by all the schools, and they visited 3 different towns in France and Swiss schools. Also to try to develop exchange programs. So that was not research. That's putting in contact at the moment. We're also trying to put in contact one lab of UP with one lab of the University of Cris, because we've seen that climate change is one of the topics at the moment. It's a topic that might also drive us to sending more emails proposing grants for student associations if they're working on this.
Thank you for the information. So the reason why we also ask about the research collaboration, because we had an experience before. I'm not sure if I from the SPARK project. So we had a partnership with the University of Exeter. So we're in the project was co-funded with DOST here in the Philippines, and I'm not sure what funding agency. UK NERD, yeah, the UK. So that's why, yeah, and we had a great experience, and outputs actually delivered from the project. That's why we're really interested to partner more with other international.
We have also a small internal code application for research projects between French team and Filipino team, together with the UST as well. It's once every 2 years, and it was in 2023. It's 2 years project, and we selected 2 projects last year, so I think that it's fine. There will be another code application for 2 more teams. And usually it's quite simple. The front space for the mobilities of the French team, and cost space for the mobility. It's a good program. So it's interesting to have insights the balance, the financial accounts.
Thank you for the information. Actually, that's quite really interesting. We don't know that as far as I know, because what we only had before was with the UK there. So it's good to know that we also have that for the with French. Okay. So yeah,
I have a question for the students. Are you planning to study abroad? Raise your hand if you're planning to study, whether it's for the exchange program that your university offers, or if it's after studying Papua. I have 1 there, 2 there, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everybody's raising their hand. Yeah. Okay, my first question is, okay, for those who can't raise their hand, why wouldn't you consider study abroad? Not in France specific, but why not going abroad? For example, with the dark glasses, what's your name?
Yeah.
My name is Alex.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, po. Hey, what's up? I should put
Yes, you, it's okay if you did not, it's alright. What are you considering studying?
Yes, po. I'm considering to study.
Where do you want to go?
In Canada po, because I have a cousin din po that studies in Canada, where he is doctor
It will be for PhD or masters?
PhD po.
Thank you very much.
Thank you po.
Anybody who's not planning to go abroad? Raise your hand.
Yes,
So
so now want to
in
go.
fact, everybody wants to go right here. Who wants to go to, let's say, Northern America, US, Mexico, for example. Northern America, you say Canada, so I have one. Only one person who goes to US or Canada. Okay. UK. UK. Okay. Anywhere in Europe. Okay, but where? Okay, you raise your hand. Where do you want to go? You want no, you. Let's see.
Somewhere for Japan or Korea.
Japan or Korea? Ah, so in Asia, who's planning on going to Asia? I have one, two. Where do you want to go?
In Japan.
In Japan. And that would be my last question. Why Japan?
Currently, I have my tita and tito or the auntie, my auntie and my uncle funding my schooling here in Macuba. So for almost 5 years now, they're paying for my tuition. So it's I just want to work with them in Japan.
And
So
they live in Japan.
and live in Japan afterwards.
In Tokyo.
Yeah, almost there. Around Tokyo.
Then that would be my final words. Like for a lot of you who want to go study abroad, having relatives in other countries is an important factor for you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe they are just not yet, they don't get some opportunities that people have to take outside. So because here in the Philippines are also like we really want to be with our family. So maybe they are just hesitant to decide right now. So yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe that's something that we are maybe working because I myself before I decided also to go to Canada last year. So I'm just thinking if I just need to continue on that because I will be away from my family. When I look at some opportunities, if you read actually some news about some Filipinos that are studying abroad, so you will also be motivated. So maybe that's something that we will also need to like impose or have some discussion with the students to explain where. So what would be the opportunities that they will have when they study? It doesn't mean naman that you study abroad and you will just stay there for a long time. So once you have finished your degree there, you can go back here in the Philippines. Yeah, definitely you will have it. So yeah, that's something. So I think that would be the end of our question and answer. So so now, thank you, Sir Adam, for that very important presentation of final facility plans. So to have our closing remarks, so I would like to introduce everyone our Dean of the School of Civil Environmental and Geological Engineering, Dr. Lynn for this.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, actually, I have two keywords in my mind as I listen to our presenters from France Embassy. One is internationalization, and the other one is opportunity. So actually, these two words are very important in our student curriculum. Okay, so I would like also to thank the Office of Ingrid Mandel and the Office of ISEF, Sir Pati, and of course, our visitor from France Embassy. Thank you for giving us the chance to explore uh, various opportunities available in France HGS. Okay, to the students, faculties, and researchers, whether you aspire to pursue your studies in France or collaborate with French researchers, I encourage everyone to grab the opportunities presented here and let us continue unlock the full potential of education and research to shape a brighter future for all. Thank you once again for your active participation and untiring commitment to excellence. Our visitors, thank you very much for visiting us today. Thank you.
So maybe we could ask our visitors and of course the participants to have a group photo.
Yeah.
Here in front na lang po ma'am.
Oo.
Kaya, so maybe we can konti lang naman tayo. So right here in front. Okay, so very much napatay na ata.